Good evening all. Am I audible? Anyone can respond.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So today we are going to start the Joy of Computing Using Python live problem solving session for week 9. I am Vikas Pandey, a PhD scholar at IDRP Space Science and Technology at IIT Jodhpur. So this is something about me. These are the links we use to join the class as well as the YouTube channel. Moving forward, before going to question 1, I'd like to ask you, do you have any doubt regarding anything taught in this session, in this week? You can ask. Okay, if no doubt, I think we can move forward. And I expect you all to respond to the questions and ask as many things as you can. So since this is a live interactive session, the most productive it will be if you are able to interact and speak up. While taking the classes, I will not be able to see the messages. So kindly unmute yourself and respond. Okay, so moving forward, let's start by question 1. This is something from the lecture. How can we identify which book is written by which author? Which of the following algorithm can be used? First one is by matching handwriting, by analyzing word length with previous books, by analyzing the number of pages in a book, or by analyzing the book's preface. So anyone have any answer for this? Yeah, please be free to respond.
Answer D. By analyzing the
D.
book.
D and one B. Yeah, by analyzing books preface. Why D or why B? Let's discuss this also. Okay. So why you think it should be D? By analyzing books preface. How can we identify that same author have written it? And remember, when we are talking in this class, we are mostly talking about coding or something that is not very intelligent, not like humans. We humans are able to fill up the gaps, think beyond what is written there. But when we are talking about computers, it can only analyze length, it can see similarity, it cannot see abstract things, like it cannot take out the ideas from it very easily. Okay. So yes, why D or why B? Yeah, I think B. Manju, you responded B, right? No. Hello, am I audible? Okay, let me explain. I think, yeah, by matching handwriting. This thing is not very easy to do. Okay, and along with that, nowadays, when we are talking about book, it is generally not handwritten. It is mostly printed. So this one is not possible. Then analyzing the book's preface. This may be right when a human is doing it, but in that case, because the ideas we can match, a computer or a program cannot easily analyze the book's preface, compare the prefaces. Okay. Okay. And the number of pages of a book don't have any relationship with the author. A same author can be writing a big book as well as a small book. Word length is mostly depending on person's handwriting. This is not a very perfect algorithm, but yes, it is a way that can be used to analyze. Okay, that if the word length are similar or sentence lengths are similar, you will find that the word a same person writes some similar in a similar way, similar word length as well as similar sentence length. The length of the sentence are somewhat similar if you find the average of it. So the correct answer should be D, by analyzing word length. Okay. Now let's move to one question uh, related to the coding, conversion of list into a tuple. We have seen some questions related to tuple in the previous class also, right? So can anyone tell which one of the following will be the correct answer?
A.
A. Okay. Tuple and then in bracket L. Okay. Yes. And yeah, Naren, I have already said that mostly I will not be able to see the messages. So kindly respond by unmuting yourself, because messages I cannot see always. I cannot always check the messages. Okay. Then you see, in this case, we are talking about something called as typecasting. Typecasting. Typecasting is conversion from one type to another, from one data type to another data type. Data type are int, float, string, as well as these are a complex data type like dictionary, tuple, list, and these things. So whenever we are changing from one type to another, the process is called as typecasting. Tuple can be converted, very rightly said, as tuple, and then in bracket we can put a list. It will convert it into a list. And there are 2-3 very amazing things. Let me Okay, Swapan is here. He asked some question in the previous class. Swapan, are you there? Okay, once he joins, we will discuss his question. In the previous class, he asked one question. Okay. Okay. You see here, here we are putting a list L equals to, I am just trying this, 125721. Okay. And if you print it, so I am printing the list, making a dash, and then type. Type is to find out the type of the variable, what type of data is stored in it. Okay. And then I am converting it into m equals to tuple, as we have seen tuple L. This is the correct way, right? So we will try this and print. So if I run this, yeah, you see in the first case, it is having a square. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, visible.
Okay. So in the first case, it is having things with square brackets, and the class it is writing as list. Okay. And the second case, the same data, but in this case in simple brackets, which is a tuple. Okay. And it is showing the class as tuple. Okay. One very important thing here is that we are using two different variables here, L and M. But the Python have one advantage, that it can even if we change the same variable with the same variable with a different data type, it accepts and it just changes the type. This is very intelligently done in Python. In case of other programming languages, if you see that you have to define the type of variable at the first, and it will accept that type of values only. But in case of Python, it doesn't happen. Like if we convert this L only into a tuple, still it will work, and it will show as L only as the data type should change it to list, from list to tuple. So you see the same value. Okay, sorry, this M should not be there. So you see the same variable has now changed to tuple. So this is one of very important advantage of using Python, that even if we change the type of data inside the variable, it does not affect much. It simply converts. We don't need to define it already, like define it every time. Okay. So the correct answer is tuple with bracket L. So whenever we want to convert, we have to use this. Fine. Any doubts still here?
Because actually,
Yeah.
if you change with the same name, but after changing into tuple, we may not be able to modify it, right?
After changing, we cannot modify. This is very true.
Because same L we can use it, but
Yeah.
one same variable if you use it, we cannot modify.
Yeah, since the property of tuple itself is we cannot modify, so we cannot modify. But in case where we are converting it into some other data type, we will be able to modify there also. But in case of tuple, we will not be able to modify, since tuple itself is having this property that it cannot be modified. Okay, now let's come to another question. Import network X. Network X you have seen, this is used to create network graphs as NX. So we have discussed earlier also, whenever we are writing import something, we are actually importing some library. Network X is a library that we are importing as NX. As NX, what does this do is that instead of writing, you might have seen that in case of tuple also I did such things. Tuple, turtle. I did such things that add something, and in fact in case of matplotlib also, add and then the short form of it. This will help us to sort in, so that we don't have to write the whole thing like network X every time. Okay, so what we are doing then is that G equals to nx dot gnp underscore random underscore graph. So it will generate some random values between 10 to 0.5. Okay, print nx dot is connected. Okay, so will this always give a result as true? Is it true or false? Can anyone comment on it? Is connected. We have read about this in the lecture. Can anyone say what is this is connected?
True, sir. True.
True. Will it always be true? That is the question. Will it always be true? Since we are going for some random, okay?
No, sir.
It will not always be true, but in most of the cases, we will see that it is actually true, but not always true. Let's run this. I think it will mostly show true. Uh, let me plot it also, right? Okay, and we will need the MATLAB library also, I think. and then we will need to show it. Let's run this. Not put it. You see, it is generating randomly. It is true, but it need not be true at time. It can even be false. Okay. But mostly it is showing as true. In some cases, if I decrease this, I think it will, let's see. Still connected. So ideally, is connected is about if each and every node is connected. But in some cases, we might see that this connection is not there. Yeah, see, in this case, it is not connected. Clear? Yeah. So generally, seeing the program, it looks like it will mostly be connected. But remember, it is guaranteed to be connected only when it is 1. The value of this connectivity is all 1, then only it will be connected. Otherwise, it can have different values. Okay, it might not be connected. So half will not give us connected. 10 is the number of nodes here. So total 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 are being generated and half of it is being connected. Half means one-way connection is always there. Okay, so the answer should be false, not true. Okay, it will not always be true. Okay, now what will be the output of this code? Can anyone expect? Here the same thing as we did earlier. We are importing network X and matplotlib. Okay, then we are creating a graph G. We are adding 4 nodes to it. Then we are putting edges, 6 edges to it. Okay, the edge is like there are 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's assume for now like this. Okay, 1 to 2. So this is a connection between 1 to 2, 2 to 1. Okay, I am drawing like this. You later on we have to find out what is the same. Then 2 to 3. Okay, then 3 to 4. Then 4 to 1. And then 3 to 1. So what shape will be there? Can anyone guess? The edges cannot be curved like I have drawn. They must be straight. Like you see in the left hand side figure, it is all the edges are straight and nodes are there. So can anyone try to find out?
Straight line.
Straight line. But see, in this case, let's assume straight line. So if we are putting 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in this case, 4 and 1 or position also can vary, right? So let's put 4 here and then 3 to something like that. So you see 1 to 4, the connection can be made, fine. But 3 to 1 will not be possible. It must not cross other edge. One edge should not be should not cross another node while connecting. Okay, so it is not being straight here. So anyone else? Anyone?
Not possible, sir.
Not possible. Why? See, there are only 4 nodes. Okay. And how many connections are there? There are 6 connections. Okay. And if we see, there is connection between 1 to 2. 1 and 2 are connected. So we can write somewhere. Let's put a different color. 1 here and 2 here. So 1 and 2 are connected because this first and second condition is there. Now is 2 and 3 is connected as well as 3 and 4 is connected. That is fine, that straight part can be there. But now you see 3 and 1 is like last 2 conditions. If we see 4 and 1 and 3 and 1, these 2 are also connected. So let's do something like this. I'm putting here, I'm putting 3 here, I'm putting 4 here. It is not one fixed way. Okay, there will be different ways. Okay, so now we can say 4 and 1 are connected. We can connect like this, and 3 and 1 are connected. We can connect like this. Now these 2 are covered, these 2 are covered. Then 2 and 3 should be connected. So 2 and 3 I can connect here. And then, so this condition is over. Then 3 and 4 should be connected. Okay, so is it possible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here all the conditions are being followed. Let's try. So ideally something like this, a square or a rectangle with diagonal in between should be there. Let's run this code. You see, somewhat like this. 1 and 3 are opposite to each other. 2 and 4 are opposite to each other. It is not fixed every time. If we run, it can change the position, but yes, you see 1 and 3 are always diagonally opposite to each other. 4 and 2, the position, the shape can change a bit, but the positions and orientation is remaining the same, right? So the output will be something like this. Fine. Are you people understanding? Because I am not getting any like very less responses I am getting from you people, or my voice is not. Yeah, like my voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So output will be something like this. Connection between 1 and 3, and 2 and 4 will be connected only to 1, 3, but not in between. Okay. So let's move to question 5. How many edges there in this graph? This is very simple geometry. Okay. So how many edges are there? Can anyone tell?
Sir, 4.
4.
4. Okay. Let's name them. Okay. So let's start with 1. Okay. So 1 is being connected to 2, right? 2 and 4. So one edge is 1, 2. Another edge is 1,
1,
4. Right? Then if we go to 2, it is already covered here. So I am ignoring this for now. In fact, 2, 1 is also covered, but 2, 1 and 1, 2 are same. Right? Then 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay. Then if we go to 3, 2, 3 is already covered. So we have 3, 4. Okay. So total we have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 and 1, 4. So total 4 or 8. Or 8 if we like say that the opposites are also there. Okay. But 4 is the value that is acceptable here. Right? Clear? So
Yes,
okay, how many neighbor does the node 3 have? Here, if it is not clearly visible, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay, this is exactly the same what we have got here in the previous program, right? In the program we did, we got this, right? The same thing is here. So how many neighbors does the node 3 have?
3, sir.
3. Why? Like if we see by our normal logic, it should be something like 2, 1 because they are adjacent, right? But why 3 here? Because the node 3 is actually connected to 1 also. So similarly, if we say how many neighbors does node 2 have then?
Only 2, sir.
Only 2. Because in that case, it is connected to only these 2 nodes. It is so for graphs, actually connection is also important. Neighborhood is defined by connections also. So there are 3 nodes, for, 3 neighbors for the node 3. Okay, this is something very important, and this is something a bit different from what we have done previously. Okay, so which of the following ways can be used to create a string in Python? String, we have already seen a lot of times how to print a string and these things. Okay.
In case of neighbor, there are 3 neighbors or 2 neighbors?
There are 3 neighbors because you see here this node 3 is already connected to this 3 na 4, 2 as well as 1. That is why here 3 neighbors. But my next question was how many neighbors are there for node 2? So for node 2, since it is connected only to 1 and 3, so there will be 2 neighbors. Clear? Yeah. Okay, now this is something we have been doing from the first classes, right? Writing a string in Python. So which of the following ways are there to write a string in Python? Yes, Ravan, please speak up.
Sir, by using double quotes.
Double quotes, okay, so this is correct. Then any other answers? I expect multiple answers for this because we have been single quotes,
Single quote
okay,
also.
Single quote
single quote,
as well as
right?
triple quote.
Triple quotes,
Also,
okay.
triple quotes are used for commenting.
Yes, this is something very important to know here. Whenever we write triple quotes means single quotes 3 times, okay? It is used for not just for commenting or string, it is a thing called for pre-formatted text. Pre-formatted means the text will be considered just a text however it is there. Space, new line, everything inside it will be considered as it is. Okay, so it is a bit different than the than our double quotes or single quotes. But yes, strings can be written using triple quotes also. Let's see. I have written something here. Okay, so what I have done is that this till line 8, line 1 and 2, you already know. Hello class, welcome to Joy of Computing. This will be printed. For now, I'm just yeah. This is fine, right? This was the way we were doing. So if I print S1 or I print S2, it will be printed as it is. Okay. So we have seen that if we want to put multiple lines, we were putting comma, sep and n equals to these things we were using. But there is an easier way, but not always preferred because there are some disadvantages also related to this triple quotes thing because sometimes it creates problem in the code if you are not very you are not taking care of some specific things. Like let's try here. I am creating another thing. I will be pasting it there. Okay. Okay, so I am removing this. Now you see here, in this case, I am putting S3 equals to hello class, welcome to the joy of computing. And then in the new line, are you enjoying the class? I am writing these two things. So pre-formatted text, what it does is that it will take as it is. If they are in two different lines, it will print in two different lines. Okay. Let's run this. So you see here it is printing hello class, welcome to the joy of computing. Are you enjoying the class? This whole thing is being printed as it was there. Even if we had put some spaces, new line or two new lines, it would print as it is. Clear? And as someone has rightly pointed out that it is used comments also. Comment, there are two ways. Single line comments is something like this, pound symbol or the hashtag we generally say, right? This is for one line comment. It can be used in line also, like even if I put something here and write it will print it. So this part will be ignored. Now if I put something in triple quotes here, it will be considered as a comment. Why comment? Because this is a pre-formatted text and it will just not be considered a part of the program. It will be skipped. It is not ideally a comment, it is a pre-formatted text. So it will be considered a text, not a code. That is all. Okay. So if we run this, okay. In this case, you see, ideally we were thinking it should not be printed, but it will be printed. That is why I said we must take care whenever we are using this triple quotes for comments. Okay. Can anyone explain why is it being printed, or do anyone have idea?
No, sir.
Okay. See, what is happening?
Triple quotes will not print, na?
Yes, normally the triple quotes will not print when put between quotes. This is to be remembered, always remembered. A triple quotes will not be printed when put between quotes. So here you see there is no code following it. That is why it is being displayed. And it is being displayed as a pre-formatted text. So you see a new line is being converted into \n. Okay, and then it is being stored here. So it is being stored only because here in this case no code is kept after it. So we cannot use this triple quotes at the end of a program. Like it must be between two codes. So whenever I will put a code after it, you will see this part will disappear. Okay, I am putting another code to print something. Okay, and you see in this case that part is missing. Are you enjoying the class? Till here it is from S3, and this line 13 and 14 is being ignored altogether, and then being printed. This part is being printed. Fine. So whenever you are using triple quotes for comments, remember that it is not the normal thing to comment. It is a pre-formatted text. It will be considered a text whenever it is between two different codes. Okay. So if there is a line of code, then you are putting this and the other line of code, it will be ignored. If it is at the last, it will be displayed as a string. Okay. So here you see in the last one, I am putting one line, then writing like in three different lines, and even putting some spaces and spaces, right? And you see in the output, it is being printed as it is along with the space. Clear? So ideally we can create string using all these three options. So all of the above will be the correct answer. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So all of the above is the correct answer. Okay. Now let's come back to this. I think I can make it big again. Okay, just a minute. Okay. How many nodes and edges does it have?
A.
A.
10 nodes and 6 edges.
10 nodes and 6 edges. Okay. So let's count. These are 1, 2 nodes, 3 nodes, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Then edges. You see here, these two are not connected to anything, so they will not be considered in counting edges. One edge is here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10 and 6. Clear? Very simple, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So 10 and 6. Okay. So now this is something actually I discussed a bit earlier also, I think. Degree of separation for a complete graph will be complete graph. That means it is fully connected. So the degree of separation for a complete graph will be how much? Okay, let's try one here. Okay. See, remember we created a graph here with 10 random values and we are putting the degree of separation as 0.5. Now I am putting it as 2. Okay. And let's run this. So what do you see here? Everything is doubly occupied. Okay. But when we were in half or 0.4, that ratio was less. So actually when I put 1, you will see here it is fully connected. Fully connected means each node is connected to every other node. Okay, that is having the degree of separation as 1. Here you see if we check any of the node and if you trace, it will be connected to all the other available nodes. Right? So each here since we have 10 nodes, so node will be connected to 9 other nodes directly. So this is called a complete graph. Clear? So 1 is the value when we have a complete graph. In this case, it will always be true. You see here, I had said that is connect. This thing will always be true only in case it is 1 or more than 1. Okay. So the degree of separation for a complete graph will be 1. Clear? It does not depend on the number of nodes. Okay, since degree of separation is something where we take the averaged on the number of nodes, that is why it becomes 1. Okay. Okay. So now next is how can we get an RGB of a pixel? RGB, remember in the previous class also I discussed that every colored image is actually an array of numbers, right? Here if we take an image, each pixel is having some value. Here it has a red, green. So the intensity of red, intensity of green and intensity of blue. So if we want to find out for pixels, every pixels, what is the value of R, G and B. So how can we do that? What is the code for it? If anyone have attended seen the lectures of the class, be able to answer. Yeah.
B D can
D. Okay. Anyone else?
B, get pixel.
Get pixel. Okay. So actually get pixel is the correct answer. Get value is not to find the pixels. Okay. This is mostly used in case of black and white images where we have only one intensity, black and white, right? So it is the intensity starting from 0 to 255. Remember we had discussed in the previous class. Here also for R, for G and B, the value will be from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, but the combined value, if we want, we can get from get pixel. Okay. So this is still here. Any questions?
what is the difference between single coated, double coated, triple coated?
Okay. See, single quote and double quote. There is no difference. Okay. And let me show you the code. Okay. Single quotes and double quotes, there is difference. It is just a convention. You should stick to one. That is the best way, I will say. That is a good practice, but it is not something that compulsory. Okay. Okay. So if I write print, print, see, if I write something like hello in double quotes and then I write in single quotes, it is the same thing. Okay. These two will give the same result, but the issue is when we want to write something which is in different lines. Okay. Like if we want to write print okay, and then suppose I want it this should be next line, suppose. Okay. If I run this, it would give me an error. Why error? Any end of the line is not expected. So in case of double quotes or single quotes, we have another way which I taught earlier is \n. That is an escape sequence we can use, but it is not always advised for long, very long sentences. Okay, so there is a that we can use 3 times, 3 quotes. Okay, so this is something called as pre-formatted text. That means it will take as it is being printed. Even that \n will not be considered. You see, it will print \n. Okay, yeah, it is. Yeah, if I put 2 lines, you see, it will print as it is, no changes to it. If I put something like tab spaces, it will print as it is, no changes will be done. So this is the only difference. In case of double quotes or single quotes, we cannot go for multiple lines. We cannot go arrange the text very nicely. But in case of triple quotes, there is one issue, that is we cannot format it. Format in the sense we cannot put variables in between. Like you see in this case, if I create, are you getting till here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Suppose I am putting name equals to okay. I want it should be written something like Hello, Suresh. Okay. So instead of your name, I am putting two curly brackets here, and I am putting dot, right, and name of the variable. You see, it replaces it with Suresh. This is something which is used in case of formatting strings. In case of pre-formatted strings, we cannot change. As from the name itself, you can understand it is pre-formatted. We cannot format, like we cannot insert variables in between. We can format it very easily, like and then I want to insert two variables, right? So if I say place equals to okay, and I put a comma here. So in the same sequence, it have to be done, comma place. You see, in this case, it will simply replace name and place by the variable. Hello, Suresh, where is I live at Jodhpur. You see, all the curly brackets are formatted. But in this case, where we have triple quotes, wherever we have triple quotes, we cannot format it. That is the difference. But the uses are generally we stick to double quotes and single quotes. Where we have long sentences, long values, there we use triple quotes. Fine?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions from anyone? I think someone has written something in the chat. Yeah, please speak up. I cannot see the messages when you are typing. I can hear just the sound of this message. Okay. So please speak up what you have a question. Yeah, Karthik Ganesh, please speak. Hello. Yes, Karthik Ganesh, are you there? I think you have asked. Yes. Hello. Hello. Yes, Mr. Karthik Ganesh, are you there? Yeah. What you are not able to understand question one that I wanted to. Yeah. You can speak up because seeing the messages is not very easy while taking the classes.
He's asking, explain the question number 1.
Yeah,
He's writing
but
answer.
yeah. So the thing is that let's start again. Like I said, when we are talking in this context, we are talking about a computer program, not about a human being. Okay. So when we are checking between two different, like we want that if two books are being written by the same author or not. Suppose we want to create a program like that. So what are the parameters we can use? So first is matching the handwriting. So nowadays, or in general also, comparing two books using handwriting is not possible because we are using the print, right? We are printing it, printing books. So this option itself is obsolete now, right? By analyzing books preface, one person said this, right? This is very true when a human is doing this. But when something like a computer program is being employed, it cannot understand the preface of the book. Like we understand. it cannot make out that the way of writing is same. The person like is using something similar. It cannot be that easy. Okay, by analyzing the number of pages in a book. So suppose a person writes a book of 50 pages, and then another book he has written of 200 pages. Okay, and this is quite common that the single author writes books of different number of pages, different size. Okay, so in that case, the number of pages cannot be a correct analysis. Okay, there is a way that if you see the writing style of authors, you will see that they use the same word length as and sentence length. Okay, with if you analyze their way of writing, this is not 100% guaranteed way, but yes, by analyzing the word length, or we can say sentence length, we can have an idea, average sentence length. We can understand how like this book has been written. It is something like it is written by the same author, it seems, but not a very perfect way. But this is one way we can use. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Please repeat question number 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay. See, what we are doing here, this import network XH and X, this was fine, right? So we are now generating random graph of node 10 and separation 0.5. Okay, so we have 10 nodes here. Three, four, five, six. Something like that. 10 are being generated. Then we are ensuring that half of the connections are certainly done. Okay, they are connected at least half. Okay, that means each one is connected to at least half of it, like at least 5, 1, 2, 3, at least 5. Each node is connected at least to 5 nodes, not 5. Half will be total 4 nodes, so 5 are connected at least. Okay, so at least 5 are connected. So if we see, it generally looks like all of them will get connected, right? Like this. Then this will again be connected to different nodes. But when check is connected, it is asking, will it always be true? That will it always give us a connection, like all the nodes are connected. So in this case, though it looks like it will always give some connections, in most of the cases it will give, since it is half. So since there are so many connections, there are very less chance that something is left. But yes, there can be cases where it will not be connected. Like I showed you in some of the case, like in one of the case, we even found that it was not connected. Okay, so this was the question. If we generate 10 nodes and we say that half of it is connected, like each node is connected to at least 4. Okay, since half will be 4 plus 1, that is 5. Okay, so will it be always connected? Will it always give true? It will give true most of the times, but not always, right? So it is false in this case. Now let's move to question 4. So what we are doing here, we are generating 4 nodes. Okay, question 3 is clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now we are going for the next question, question 4. So first we are creating a graph G Okay, and then we are adding 4 nodes. Nodes are the round, right? So we are adding 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can have any positions, right? At present we are not giving any positions to them. It is like this. Now it's adding edges to them. 1 and 2 are connected. So 1 and 2 got connected. Then 2 and 1 connected. So these are actually the same thing, no effect. 2 and 3 are connected. So 2 and 3 will get connected. Okay. Then 3 and 4 connected. This is fine. Then 4 and 1 should be connected. Okay. Then 3 and 1 should also be connected. Okay. So this is 4 and 2 is, yeah. So this is one shape that is possible. Then another shape that is possible is with all these conditions. Okay. So we can have 1, 2, 4, 3 like this. And this is the most common what you will see it will be generated because there will be no overlapping, very less overlapping will be there. So you see if we connect 1 and 2, 2 and 1 same thing, then 2 and 3, then 3 and 4, then 4 and 1 and 3 and 1. See in this case there is no overlapping and this is the most simplest one that will mostly be generated. Okay, then saw it here. Yeah, this one. You see in this case also this was the most commonly generated shape.
What's the function of width levels equal to true?
With labels means you see I am not sure whether it is visible on your screen or not. You see here the values on the nodes, the values are given 4, 3 and this is it visible? 1, 2, these node values are given. So these are the labels. Okay, so it is showing the label. If we make it false, you will see these values will not appear. Equals to. Okay, now if we run this, in this cases the nodes will be there but no, you see no value is inside, right?
Yes.
So we wanted to see whether the nodes are there or not. That is why I put true here. Okay, so clear this question?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Swapan, is he here? I think he asked some questions in the previous class. Anyone else who have doubt in this snake and ladder program? He was having doubt in the snake and ladder program, right? I think, yeah. This was the program. We can see two, 3 mistakes were there. One was he was which was actually not that significant for this program, but one was he was using AND here, which is itself a keyword, okay, which should not be used. Okay, this should not be used. This should be avoided. But in this case, since at any place we were not using the AND keyword, that is why last will also work. Okay. Another wrong he was doing was he was not putting this. He was whenever it is ending, he was not putting this. He was putting 0, but he was not putting 1. Okay, so everything, even if when I was quitting, it was continuing. Then, and one more thing was there, like we studied today, tuple typecasting. Here, if you are taking an input in this code, it has to be converted into an integer, otherwise it cannot be compared. So in this case, what he was doing is that he was comparing directly with 0. So either you can write 0 in quotes here, or you can put an int here. Int, then in bracket it will be converted. So he's not here, so I'm not sure whether his problem is solved or not. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so I think we can end the class here. So thank you all. See you all in the next class.